You know, I don't care how much tithe you pay regularly or how much offering you give regularly. If you have internal issues that are causing you to spend more money than you make, your finances are always going to be jacked up. You see what I'm saying? You might have within you, well, you know, I don't want to, domestic violence. I don't want to abuse my wife anymore. And I'm telling you, you hear the message, you know you're not supposed to, but then you end up abusing your wife anyway. And then you cry about it, you feel so bad, I'll never do it again. But next thing you know, a day or two later, bam, you abuse your wife again. I don't care how much you determine you don't want to do a thing consciously. If you haven't dealt with the internal issues that are those negative issues somewhere in your past that's causing these manifestations to appear, you're not going to stop. Whatever it is, whether child molestation, I don't want to do that anymore, you know, and then you find yourself doing it again. I don't care how much you don't want to do a thing, if you haven't been able to correct those internal negative issues that have been suppressed that are causing these actions to manifest, it's never going to stop. And you can go down the list, whatever you want to stop or whatever you want to do or whatever you want to be, something other than what you were doing or what you were not doing or what you are not or what you are right now. It's not going to change unless these internal issues are dealt with, okay? And so how do we do that? We have to recognize that the bodies that we have been given by God have been wonderfully made. We have within us the ability to heal ourselves. I mean, you know, a scab is basically your body responding to correct a piece, an injury or a wound, you know, while the healing process is taking place underneath that scab. You know that, right? You cut yourself, you have a scab, it's been there for a while, eventually it peels off, and lo and behold, your hand is healed. You know, a blister the same. You know, blister on your foot or something might be painful. But recognize it's just your body creating a protective covering while that area is being healed. We have tears the same way. We have sweat produces for the same reason. Issues that we don't actually consciously control, things that are happening to heal certain incidences, certain traumas that happen to our body. We have that. We've been created like that. We can't control those things. And what I'm suggesting to you today, we have as well internal mechanisms. Mechanisms when God is telling us about this spirit, the difference between soul and spirit, we have an ability to heal. God has given us an ability to heal those issues that have been suppressed, that are causing us to do things that we shouldn't do. Okay, but we don't see it. We see the symptoms. We see the results of the illness, we see the results of the issues and all the destructive ways that we're acting, either perpetrating upon ourselves or on other people. We recognize the negative mindsets that we have and even the depressions that we go through and all these terrible things that we have going on up here within our mind, but we're just not able to deal with. And we don't go anywhere. We don't even try to get them fixed. Now I promise you, if you've injured yourself, if you have a terrible sickness, flu symptoms or, you know, strep throat or whatever, you're going to go to the doctor to get some antibiotics. You're going to go to the doctor to get a cure. You're going to try to address the issue. If you do cut your hand, you're not going to keep on using that hand. You're going to allow the hand, the scab to come. You're going to allow the hand to heal. You're going to rest that hand until that healing takes place, or at least is well enough to where you can get back to the things that you've been doing. But we don't do that with our mind. We don't do that with our emotions, with the things that we go through. And half the time we don't even realize why we're doing the things that we've done. We've just sort of acquiesced to, well, this is just the way that I am. Let me just work around it, okay? and what I'm suggesting is this is what we do. This is why we're jacked up. This is why our relationships just don't seem to work right. This is why we're in such conflict all the time, not just with each other, but within ourselves. And it's within ourselves, this conflict going on, which is why we have conflict with other people. And I'm suggesting today that we have the ability within us to be made well, but we don't rest. We don't rest. Because the Spirit, because the Word of God is a discerner of the thoughts and intents of the heart. God knows. And so this is what I'm going to give today, you know, sort of, I guess, a culmination of the journey, is that there is a way to be well. is first to recognize that the issues that you have are deep issues, that are subconscious issues, experiences that you've had in the past, unprocessed things in the past, hurts, betrayals, wounds, emotional injuries from the past that have never been dealt with properly, and they're manifesting in your life right now. And what I'm suggesting today is sometimes, you can go on like these talk shows and look at these people, Jerry Springer, and people complaining, or, oh, this is why I'm this way because you did this to me, you did this to me. What I'm suggesting today, if you know the incident in your life, the trauma or traumatic incident buried way back in your past, in your life, that's causing you to act in certain destructive ways, what I'm suggesting today is that's probably not the reason, okay? Because whatever the reason is, unless you're on the road to healing, but if you simply just accepted that this is the way you are because of something that happened in your past, that's probably not the thing that's causing you to be the way you are. Because your body has this natural, again, healing, even in your emotions, in your mind, and all you really need to do is to find out why. We have this thing about us as human beings that's called survival, okay? We want the best for us. Now, we spend much of our lives doing things that are totally opposite of what is best for us, but that's because we don't know. We find ourselves chasing things that we think will bring us satisfaction, and they end up bringing us destruction. We chase things that we think are going to bring us happiness, they end up bringing us destruction. We chase individuals and relationships that we think are going to bring us happiness and fulfillment, they end up bringing us discussion. But what you need to see is the reality is we are chasing things that we think will be best for us. It's simply that same survival technique, that desire within us to be well, but we're simply pursuing things that are not going to make us well, thinking they are. Whether we're getting high, whether we're getting a buzz, whether we're just driving too fast, all the things that we're doing that are causing us destruction, we're finding in some perverted way satisfaction out of that, and we're thinking we're going to attain that satisfaction. And what I'm telling you, the moment your mind grasps the reality of what's going to bring you satisfaction, you're going to go there whether you choose to or not. You don't have any choice because it's your body's desire to bring satisfaction. Have you ever found something that you used to like a whole lot? Maybe it's a food, maybe it's a certain kind of alcohol, maybe it's a certain kind of person or whatever, and you were really attracted to that thing or attracted to that person most of your life, or that type person most of your life. But now in your life, you don't like that type thing anymore. You don't like that type person anymore. Why? And it doesn't attract you. Because the moment your conscience, the moment how about this? The moment your conscience caught up with your subconscious, the moment you recognize that that isn't good for you, that's not going to bring you happiness, and that's not going to bring you pleasure, that thing is no longer attractive to you anymore. So what I'm suggesting is that when some of these issues are brought to surface and realized, we'll no longer have a lot of the problems that we're dealing with today, but we never address those issues, and that's what we have to do. What do you think about that? So how do you get there? How do you figure out the ills and the issues that you have? Well, let me take you a little step further to get a little bit of understanding. Something that I just sort of understood recently is that some of the issues that we have because of negative experiences, and some of these negative experiences that we've had may not really be negative experiences, but they're perceived negative experiences. You may have gotten a spanking, when you were real young and felt it was terribly unfair and couldn't process it, couldn't reckon with it, and so it became suppressed. Now, the administrator of that spanking may have seen that you really needed that spanking, and maybe you did, okay? But at the time, you didn't believe you did. You couldn't process it, and you just suppressed it. It's never been forgotten. To you, it was totally unfair. It may have been totally necessary. So not only are negative experiences impacting you negatively, also perceived negative experiences that were not negative at all, really, are also impacting you negatively and causing problems in your life. All these experiences that we had as children that we could not process, we could not reconcile, were suppressed. And what I'm suggesting today, even situations that we've gone through since then that are hurtful, betrayals, pains, wounds, and all that stuff,